Hi everyone, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Abhilasha and we are doing vocabulary for IPMAT and JIPMAT 2027. So in today's session, of course, we are covering prefixes, suffixes and root words. So I hope you're ready to get set and go. Of course, if you can see me and hear me, you can give me a quick yes or no in the chat box. You can also like the session and share the session with your friends and family. Those who are preparing will surely find this useful for any exam and more specifically for IPMAT and JIPMAT. So let's do this, guys. Okay, so we are covering root words, prefixes, and suffixes today. Let's do this. So what is a root word? Of course, you understand that's the main sound of a word. So you have to identify the meaning of the underlined word based on its root or choose the best option that best completes the sentence. So the dynamic between the protagonist and his antagonist forms the core conflict of the novel. What does the root word agon mean? So protagonist and antagonist. So agon, what is the root word? You're looking for that, right? Take a minute and tell me if it is friend, time, struggle, or opposite. I'm waiting for your answers. So the correct answer here, guys, is struggle. I hope you got that. So protagonist, proto means first. Agonist is the first one who's struggling. Anti means opposite. So someone who's against the struggle. All right. The speaker's gregarious nature made him life of the party, as he naturally gravitated towards large crowd. What does the root greg mean? Greg or gregare means flock or crowd, and therefore anyone who's gregarious is very friendly, very outgoing, very sociable, right? Or you also call such a person very amiable, right? He's very amiable. All right. The tech startup was criticized for its anachronistic hiring policies, which felt like they belonged to the 19th century. The root word ana means no, and chronos means time. And therefore, of course, the correct answer is time. Anachronistic means something that is not in its correct time period. And that is why anachronistic, not in its correct time period. That is why it feels like it belonged to the 19th century. All right. After weeks of public outcry, the dictator was forced to abdicate the throne. What does the root word dict mean in this context? So the root word dict means to speak or declare, right? So dict means speak. So of course, so to speak or declare, that's the correct answer. Abdicate means to leave the throne. The dictator, of course, is the person who rules or controls. So the judge noted that the corporate fraud was an egregious violation of ethical standards based on the root. What does egregious mean? Egregious violation is a very bad one. So therefore, answer is standing out drastically from the herd. So shockingly bad. All right, let's take a look at the next one. The mediator tried to settle the dispute, but the two parties remained entirely implacable. Implacable means stubborn or unyielding, right? Stubborn or unyielding, right? So somebody who's implacable is not placated easily, is not appeased easily, right? So plaque, the root word means to please, appease, soothe, mollify, pacify, right? You can use any of these words as synonyms. All right. Her somnambulist episodes alarmed her family, who frequently found her wandering the hallways at midnight. What do the roots somn and amble mean? What do these two roots mean? What is somn and what is amble? So, of course, these are two very beautiful words. The first one, which of course is somn, that means sleep. And that is why if you don't sleep, you have insomnia. Right? If amble means to walk, and therefore So many words. Amble means to walk. Ambulatory, which means related to walking. Ambulance, right? So all of these words come from amble. So somn and amble together means to sleep and to walk. So sleepwalking is somnambulism. All right. The CEO's magnanimous gesture of donating half his bonus to the employee relief fund stunned the board. What does the root anim mean in magnanimous? So what does anim mean? Anim means to, the root word anim means spirit. Okay. So spirit or mind is the correct one. Magna, of course, is large. Okay. So magna is large and spirit is, of course, so magnanimous is someone who's large spirited or large hearted, very kind or charitable. A very good word for this is philanthropic. Right? You know, philanthropic. There's another word which you can use, and that is altruist. 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 So these are the words that you can use for magnanimous. All right, let's take a look. So choose the correct meaning of the prefix to determine the correct definition, or choose the word that best fits the blank. So let's take a look at our prefixes. What is a prefix? A prefix is essentially a word, a phrase or a root that is used before a word. For example, you have heard of this D. So classify, declassify, right? Interpret, misinterpret. So these are called prefixes. Why? Because they come before a word. If they were coming after the word, they would become suffix. So the International Summit was designed to address transcontinental trade routes. What does the prefix trans mean? Trans means across continents. So that's your answer, across. Transport means to carry across. Transfer means to send across, right? Transitory is something that is going across. All right. The detective noticed a discrepancy between the suspect's two alibis. What does the prefix dis signify here? What is dis? Dis means apart or away, and therefore the correct answer will be B. So we say disrespect, disinformation, disuse, right? So all of these say apart or away. Okay, that's this. All right, to prevent inflation from spiraling out of control, the central bank took some measures to tighten liquidity before the crisis hit. So before the crisis hit, they're looking for something that is before. Remember, before, the prefix can be pre or anti. After, the prefix will be post. Okay. So pre-war or anti-war, and ANTE. This is ANTE. Okay. And post means after. So pre means preemptive, something that is done before an action. So preemptive. The document was so irrevocable that even the board of directors could not overturn it. What does the prefix IR mean in this? Revocable means something that you can revoke or change. Irrevocable means not. So therefore, irrevocable is not. So ir, in, d, im. Okay, all of these roots mean no or not. Okay. All right, the economic indicator was deemed perennial, appearing consistently year after year. So what does the prefix per mean, right? So you're trying to identify what is per. Per means through or throughout. Okay, so perennial essentially means something that happens throughout the year. So through is the correct answer. Perennial is year long. Okay, so that. The political faction was accused of trying to subvert the democratic process from within. What does the prefix sub mean? Sub means under. Remember, sub is under and super is above. Similarly, hypo is under and hyper is excess or over. Okay, so subvert is to impact or cut from under. So therefore, under is the correct answer. All right, what does the prefix sim or sin mean here in this word symbiotic? The research paper focused on the symbiotic relationship between the two completely different organizations. So sim or sin means same or together, right? So answer will be together. So you have a symbiotic or symbiosis, right? You have synchronized, right? You have synonymous. Oops. Sometimes my mind and my hand don't match. Synonymous, same name. So of course, sin and sim, same or together. Okay, the philosopher argued that certain truths are immutable and do not change. So what does the prefix im mean? Prefix im, I have already told you, means no. So for example, moral becomes immoral, right? So not moral, correct? Mutable, something that can change, becomes immutable. That means it cannot be changed. So therefore, excuse me. So not is the correct answer. All right, let's look at part 3. Here are some suffixes. We will try and identify how the suffixes change the meaning or the grammatical function of the root word. Suffixes can be words or roots such as ETTE, ISM, ALGI. For example, Algier means pain, ism means theory, et means small. So all of these you use with different words to combine and create different thoughts of different schools of thought. The sudden evanescence of the morning mist revealed a clear, sharp view of the valley below. What does the suffix essence mean? Well, essence is an abstract noun that shows you the process of growing into something. Okay, so the process of beginning or growing or becoming. For example, adolescence, right? So adolescence, luminescence, so all of these words mean to become something. Luminescence is the process of becoming luminous. Adolescence is the process of becoming an adult. So that. The corporate trader is known for his rapacity, buying up struggling firms only to strip and sell their assets. What does the suffix act reply? Act is a tendency. Okay, it is the quality of doing something, of being inclined towards something, right? So that is rapacity. Rapacity is greed. All right. The patient showed signs of somnolence after taking a heavy dosage of medicine. What does the suffix ence mean? Ence is a state or quality. So essence, you have seen essence. You have seen somnolence, okay? So those words say a state of something. All right. The board decided to democratize the selection process by allowing all employees to vote. What is the primary function of the suffix IZE? So you want to democratize means you want to make it democratic, right? So therefore, to turn a word into a verb meaning to subject or to make into, correct? So when you want to make something into another thing, you are democratizing, you are formalizing, you are whatever, right? So therefore, when you use the suffix IZ, it means to make into. The mentor's advice has a salutary effect on a trainee's professional growth. What does the suffix ARY mean when forming this adjective? Salutary means being healthful, being beneficial. So ARY means to promote something. Okay. So it has a salutary effect, means capable of being. All right, the treaty proved to be efficacious, successfully resolving the border dispute within months. What does the suffix OUS mean? OUS means to be full of something or to you have the quality of something. Okay, so if something is noxious, it is having the quality of being poisonous, right? If something is poisonous, then it has the quality of being poison, right? So therefore, full of or having the quality of is the correct answer. The professor's explanation was filled with lucidity, making the complex quantum physics theorem easy to comprehend. What does the suffix ITY do to the word? What is ITY doing? Right? To turn it into a noun which indicates a state or quality. So the state is being lucid. So lucidity is a noun which indicates a state, right? Okay, the activist group sought to nullify the outdated legislation. Nullify means to make it null. So the suffix IFI will be what? Tell me. It should be to make, right? So to make or to cause to become, that's nullify. All right, guys, that brings me to the end of today's session. If you found this session to be helpful, do remember to like it, subscribe to our channel, and also share with a friend. Okay. Remember, if you wish to join us at Career Launcher, 8130-038-836 is the correct number. Do keep practicing. This session happens every Monday, same time, same place. See you there. Bye-bye.